Hello everyone, and welcome to a little tasting, so to say a visual supplement to my podcast which I'm about to record this evening with Josef Fischer, who is a 5th generation winemaker in Wachau in Austria, and he was kind enough to send me some bottles, some samples, because we are not able to meet due to this coronavirus. And I have 2 Grüner Veltliners and 2 Rieslings from 3 vintages. And just briefly to talk about this producer, he's based on the Ried bank in the Wachau. If you want to know more about this region, maybe check out my video. And he has, for example, the Ried Zanzl, the Ried Kreuzberg, the Ried Kirnberg, which I have here as single vineyard selection wines, and all of them are different in terms of soil types, exposure from east to west, so it's really interesting to taste them side by side. And I also have a Federspiel and a Smaragd and a Reserve, so just come along. If you want to know more about this terroir and winery in more detail, please listen to the podcast and look up other information on his website. I'm gonna put the link below. So let's start with the first wine. So I already have the first wine in my glass. That's a Grüner Veltliner Federspiel Ried Zanzl 2019 vintage, 12.5% alcohol, so that's in the middleweight in the Wiener Wachau classification system. And the average age of these wines are about 35 years old. It's the westernmost Ried or single vineyard which this winery have. It's also facing west, and the soil is more sandy, loamy, but also some primary rock as well. Also spontaneous fermentation in stainless steel, spent some time on the fine lees, but already on the nose it's very aromatic, also some almost like this toothpaste aroma really present, and this citrusy nose, but also maybe lemon blossom or citrus blossom, but also some underlying sweetness as well, so really refreshing, kind of mesmerizing, like this. Also some kind of mintiness next to the citrus blossom, but really some underlying sweetness. So let's taste the wine. Wow, very pleasant acidity, but it has its ups and downs, so it's really dancing in the mouth. Really refreshing acidity, kind of squeeze your taste buds and then let them go. Also this kind of orange zest, tangerine, it comes to mind, but also some Meyer lemon and citrusy aromas, really. But it's more organic. I wouldn't say that it's really mineralic. It has a present acidity, but it's more organic. At some point your palate got hit with this white peppery sensation, so it bites you a little bit, but then I let it go. But I already have the second wine. It's also a Grüner Veltliner Smaragd Ried Kreuzberg 2018 vintage. It also 14% alcohol, so really masculine, also later harvested, really long hang time. I think late September was the harvest date. Also spontaneous fermentation took 3 months actually, and then spent some time on the fine lees. So I already tasted this wine yesterday. It's really mesmerizing, and really also the nose, it's really like enticing and really complex. I also get some more ripe aromas, so more like herbaceous fruits, like almost cooked apple, but also really crushed ripe yellow pear maybe, or apple. Also some orange blossom, so elderflower, maybe some jasmine as well. So literally these flowery and herbaceous fruit aromas are dancing around. But really maybe some green tea aromas, really nice. Wow, on the palate it's really complicated, really complex, sorry. but also complicated because these aromas are just floating around in your mouth. It has some mid palate, so really some weight, but also like how I would explain, it's like little rocks bouncing around in your mouth. This is how you can get this minerally taste. And also these really luscious ripe pear aromas, but really the acidity is well integrated, and what I get in the aftertaste is the fruity taste, and that's developing, and that's, I think, a great measurement of a wine, that the finish is fruity and not acidic. But also these peel flavors come through, so maybe pear, the peel of the pear, you know, this kind of almost bitter sensation, but really dominated by this minerality and refreshing kind of sensation. So I already have the third wine in my glass. That's already a Riesling, but also Federspiel, and that's another single vineyard, Ried Kirnberg, 2019 vintage again, and 12.5% alcohol. And just from the color, it's also more golden, so not really this pale straw-like what you would maybe expect from a Steinfeder or Federspiel, but it's really deep. You can almost feel the extract from the color. Wow, and very enticing nose. But maybe let's talk about Kirnberg a little bit. So that's actually on the western part of Rossatz and east facing, sit atop of a plateau actually, so that's a little higher elevation, and really rocky as well. Also some paragneiss, so sedimentary soil, also spontaneous fermentation of course, and yeah, really late harvest, so in the middle of October. Riesling also kind of a late ripening variety. So on the nose, so wow, a really complex nose, mostly apricotty, but also some mango flavors come through, and also like some golden pears. Wow, complemented with some maybe citrus blossom or orange blossom, really like tangerine aromas, almost really complex nose. Wow, that's a nice attack on the palate, so I can feel it has more acidity probably than the last one had, but it's really balanced out. I can expect some RS also in this wine, but it's dry. Wow, has some mid palate, and also the acidity kind of sits down the side of your mouth. Wow, really layers of flavors. Almost has some limoncello kind of character to it, but now it transforms into blossom honey. So really interesting, kind of mysterious line of taste. But also this citrusy acidity. So it attacks your palate, but then it kind of melts away. Really nice combination of these delicate aromas, but also some kind of tingling, kind of minerally rocky sensation. So really nice wine. So, and the fourth wine here already in the glass, it's a Riesling Wachau Reserve 2017 vintage already, and it's actually semi-dry, halbtrocken, that this is what it means in German. I looked it up yesterday. When we opened the wines, it's like 10 grams of residual sugar, so you shouldn't be afraid if you are in a diet. But it also, I think it's a really good example how acidity counterbalances sugar, and how a Riesling should always look for this really nice balance, which this wine could display. So it's already almost, so to say, a Smaragd quality, because it's also really late harvest, also middle of October, and this wine also had a minimal skin contact, so it's like 2 hours, but don't expect like this orange wine kind of bouquet of flavors. But this wine definitely has a bouquet, so I can smell some oxidation and really nice ripe flavors. So the wines, or the grapes, are mostly coming from Kirnberg, if you still remember this single vineyard. It's mostly rocky. So this wine is, I think, a beautiful example how a really complex Riesling could be made. So on the nose, it's so this I get more citrusy flavors actually. So citrus, my lemon. What's this kind of orangey, but light orangey, but more on the fresh or flesh kind of side, not the zest. Mostly this orange flesh comes through, but also some flowery notes maybe, but not so intensively as the other one had. But also this really bouquet, almost kind of oxidized, lightly oxidized flavors. But let's see. That's the flavor I remembered actually. Wow, so I told you that's a semi-dry wine. You can also feel the acidity. I think it's well above 7 grams, so the mouth still watering, but because of the sugar it still welcomes it. So this wine almost has 2 layers, but really complement each other, because it doesn't run through your mouth, but the acidity kind of stays here, and this fruit sugar kind of flavors come to my mind. So maybe just a final conclusion after tasting all 4 of these beautiful wines. I'm about to talk to this wine wizard, Josef Fischer, and I can't wait to talk more about his terroir and these wines. I think all 4 of them were a great representation of what Wachau as a great white wine region could produce, and all through these 3 vintages and these 2 flagship grape varieties, Grüner Veltliner and Riesling. And I think it's quite difficult, especially in other regions, to produce a white wine which is still refreshing but has some pleasant weight to it, doesn't come dull but has enough alcohol, but the alcohol doesn't come through or doesn't stick out, and has a really good ripeness to it, really a broad range of fruit flavors, but also the spicy notes, some kind of what we call minerality, so they can really reflect the place. And also the single vineyard selections, I think they are really worth trying next to them or side by side. And I can't wait to travel to this region. It's also really beautiful. You can see some pictures in the Wachau video. And I really encourage you to listen to my conversation with this guy, and also can't wait. So thanks for watching, and don't leave your glass empty.